Yogah Karmasu Kaushalam.
A warm welcome to one and all present in the session today. I am extremely thankful to UGC HRDC and Professor Dr. Jagdish Joshi, Professor and Director UGC HRDC, for have given me an opportunity to be among you all, the learned colleagues, to share my experiences today. So, the topic that I'm going to discuss today is titled as Exploring Google Docs for Research Journey. So, I would like to share my screen and let you know that why this particular topic is important for a researcher and how Google Docs is a very powerful tool that can aid a researcher in the process of the research that he or she takes up. So, let me share my screen first. So basically, the session is going to be a very hands-on session wherein I'm going to demonstrate all the aspects that I'm showing you in this PPT. You may try it at your end to get a better understanding of how these functionalities can be utilized by you. So yes, so as I told you that the title of this session is Exploring Google Docs for Research Journey. So first I would like to start with why this topic is vital. So the vitality is like I've listed few of them for you to know. Whenever we start with a research, the first thing is that we may be collaborating with others. Like we would be having different co-authors for writing the research paper, right? So usually what happens is that as a researcher, I am writing something and the other party is also writing something in his or her own Word document. Then we have to compile the entire thing, and there is a lot of time which gets wasted. Many a times it may also happen that the other person is not aware about what I have done, and I'm not aware that what the other research contributor has done with reference to the work that we have initiated. So all these aspects, or I would say all these problems that we usually face in our research journey can be eliminated by using this tool, which is Google Docs, and that's why I have taken up this topic. So the first benefit of using Google Doc is that it provides us a real-time collaboration. That is, the document that has been created can be shared with multiple people and everybody can work on the same document at a given point of time. So that's the beauty of Google Doc, which can help researcher save a lot of time, right? And at the same time, it can also help in keeping a track of what has been done by whom. The second is Google Doc is something which is regularly being updated. So there are a lot of additional features that keeps on coming up. There is a lot of upgrades that they do, and we can get a benefit of all those upgrades if we are using that document, right? So this session is going to make you well versed with the functionalities which are available as of now. But if you start using it, you will be able to understand what are the new features that have come up in Google Doc and utilize them in the research journey and even in the teaching process, or maybe in the classrooms when you are using a Word document. You can take a lot of advantage of this particular tool. The next is because of this pandemic, it has happened that many a times we were working from home, sometimes we were working from our campuses or universities. So it was always required that we need to carry things in our pen drive, or maybe a hard disk has to be carried by us. So, but in case if we are a good user or a frequent user of Google Doc, then we have the accessibility to our files at every given point of time. So that is again one of the features which differentiates it from any other documents that we usually use in our routine lives. So the documents that are available, they are readily available, they are 24 by 7 with us. We can even access them on mobile phones and we can even edit them. So that's the beauty of using this particular tool. So though this entire session that I'm taking, I'm looking at the research angle, but this tool can be utilized in your classroom teaching environment also, or for any other purpose wherein a Word document has been used by you. So we can explore it further. Then we can, as I already told you, that a lot of time that is usually needed in order to do formatting and all those editing, so we can save a lot of time by reducing our formatting time that is required. It's quickly accessible, and it's a very very flexible tool with lot of options that are available to us. So because of these reasons, I would urge all of us to use Google Doc and get the benefit of this particular tool that is available free of cost. Now, talking about the session has been divided into four different aspects. So I have created different slabs for a better understanding. So how I have divided the session is like I'll start with the basics, wherein I'll be talking about some basic features, some basic formatting, and some basic instructions which are necessary to understand Google Doc. Then I'll talk about the second feature, which is the collaboration and sharing, which is very very important when it comes to research and the journey of research. So I'll talk about how to collaborate, how to share, what are the different options, what is the purpose of different options that are available on Google Docs. Then I'll be focusing on two different tools, two different menu options that are available in Google Docs, which are actually very very helpful for researcher, and that's why I've titled the third part as researcher's aid. And the last one is like once we are done with everything, we have to finally download the document and send it, right? So there are the downloading options, what are the different downloading options, and what are the other functionalities which can help us in order to make our research more beautiful, or maybe more easy, or maybe more hands on. So these are the four parts in which I have divided the session. Now, because it's a hands-on session, I'll be keeping my camera off and only the screen will be visible to you, so that you are able to see the screen properly and see the demonstration that I am doing. So let's begin with the first part, the basics. Let us get started with the first part of our Google Docs, that's the basic. So first I'll talk about how do we get into Google Docs. So first what we have to do is like we have to log on to our Gmail account, and then you can see these three the box which has 9 different dots, so that's Google Apps. You have to click on it, that is the Drive setting, and when you click on this you have to go to the Google Drive. Now when you get inside this, there are two ways in which you can get inside a Google Doc, that is open a Google Doc. The first thing is you can go to this left hand corner and click on new, and you can click on Google Docs. So here there are two options available to you. You can either go for a blank document or you can select a template. But because we are talking about researchers perspective and creation of a manuscript perspective, I shall be working on a blank document. You can later on look and access and explore more about the template. It is also a very useful tool of Google Doc. So from Google Doc I can select a blank document. This is one way of getting inside Google Doc. The second way is like clicking on this button which says My Drive, and again you will have an option of getting inside the Google Doc, again with same two options, that is a blank document or a template. So I'll select a blank document. So this is how the document looks. This is similar to the MS Word document that we function on, but as I already told you, there are a lot of advantages. So let us explore these advantages. So the first thing that we should be doing is like titling our document. So suppose say I title it as demo file, right? So this is the title that I'm giving to my document. And once I'm giving this title, there are two options that are reflected. That is, I can star this document, I can move it in a particular folder, and I can see the status of the document. So what's the benefit of starring the document is like once the document is starred, you will be able to quickly find this document from all the documents that you have in your drive. If you have created separate folders, for example, you're working on different research papers, so in that case you can create separate folders. As of now I don't have any folders here, so we can actually add a new folder over here. We can put it as research paper 1 or whatever the title could be, and then we can move it to that particular thing. So this is the way of organizing the documents that are there on our drive. So this is all about how we can open the file, how we name it, we can star it, we can move it in a particular folder of our choice. So if you want to see, so if you get back to drive now, you will see there is a folder that has been created as research paper, and if you click on it you will be able to see the demo file. So this is a very good way of organizing all the files related to your research paper 1. You can store all of them in this particular folder and it will be very easy, readily available for you to access. So let's go back to our file now. So first part we are going to talk about the basics, wherein we started with opening of the document and we talked about how do we look or name the different document. Now the first tool that we should be aware about is the toolbar of view. So when we click on view, there are different options which are available to us. So we have to keep all of them on. Like you can see a tick mark, it says that it is working, it is on. So you can put this ruler option on. So what's the benefit is you will be able to see a ruler like this. So you will be able to adjust your indents and everything later on. The second option that is available is document outline. This is very important and very useful for creating the table of contents if required. So we'll be talking about this tool in detail, so we'll keep it also as on. If you are writing a research paper which consists of some equations or some formula, so you can keep it on. So you would be able to see a tab has opened, new equation, but in my case I don't work on equations, so I'll keep it as off. So see, that option is not available now. Again, there is something called section break. Section break also will keep it as on. It is a very important functionality because if we are able to apply section breaks in our document, we can individually work on those sections and we can have individual, or maybe I would say customized formatting for each of those sections. So what are the mandatory things that we should keep on is, one is the document outline, second is the section break, and the third is the ruler. Now there is one more thing that you see, that is the mode. Now if you have a close look at mode, there are three options, that is editing mode, suggestion mode, and viewing mode. Now right now, because I am the person who is working on this document, it is the editing mode that I will be keeping as open. About other two modes we will discuss later. So this is the first setup that you have to do, that is naming your file. If you want to star it, you can do it, you can move it to a particular folder, and then in the view options you have to see all the options that are available and keep the things on that are required. Now this is my fresh document, and because we are talking about researcher's journey, let us assume that we are in preparation of a particular research paper. So the first thing that would come is title of the paper, then we will have the abstract, then we may have the introduction, then we may have the literature review, we may have research methodology, then we may have the data analysis, maybe findings, managerial implications, and say further scope of study and references. Suppose say like this, depends upon what type of paper you are creating. I'm just writing what came to my mind, like the basic things. So these are the different things. Now what I would suggest you is, like in Word document we usually have certain dedicated formatting style which is to be practiced for a particular journal. So that should be set up from the very beginning. So suppose say I select them all, and you will be able to see various tools, like there is something like Arial, 11, B, I, U, A. So they are all the same functions that we have in our Word document also. So suppose I want it to in Times New Roman. I want, because they are all the titles, I want the size of this to be 14. I want them to be bold. So this is the setup that I want for my entire manuscript. Title of the paper, I want it to be in 16, so I can increase the size likewise. The best part of Google Doc is we don't need to keep on pressing Control S because it gets saved automatically. So this is one of the best features of Google Doc, that you're working on something and it gets saved. So if you see here the version history, it says last edit was seconds ago. So whatever you are doing, it gets saved automatically. You don't need to keep on pressing the button of Control S. Now let us move on to this left hand corner, and you see a small square which says show document outline. So now if I click on this, you see that it's blank and only one thing is there, that is title of the paper. Now this is a very important feature of Google document which we should be aware of. So how do we move about it? So we'll go to this, that is known as styles, which is known as text style option, and we have an option to select that what do these elements mean. So for example, this title of the paper, I can go on this and I say this is my title. Now when you click on this, there are two options: apply the title and update the title. Now as I had already told you that we have already done the formatting way before, right? So what I will do is, like, I will update my formatting into this Word document. I don't want their formatting, so I can click on update the title to match. So if you click on this, you will see that whatever I have done, that is Times New Roman and 16 size, it will get reflected over here. So I'll just click on it. If I again go to this, so see, now this is Times New Roman and the size is also 16. The font size is 16 and it's bold. Likewise, you can do for all other things. So abstract, what is this? That is a heading, right? So I say it is heading, but I don't want to apply their formatting. I want to apply my formatting. So I'll update heading. Right, so now you can see here on left hand side, title of the paper is visible, then you can see abstract, and likewise we can do it for all other. Now I want to repeat it for every other point which is listed here, like for introduction, literature review, RM, and so on. So now I don't need to keep on doing it again and again. What I can do is I can select this and then I can press this button, that is format, paint format. I can click on this and then I can simply apply to all of them. And you can see that all of them have got listed over here in the left hand side in the document outline. Now it may happen that in introduction section I'm going to talk about two different aspects, that is, I say industry before COVID and I say industry now. So these are just imaginary statements that I am adding. Depending upon your research paper, you can put up your own inferences. So again, I want this to be in times. I want it to be 12 because this is a normal text, but it should come within the introduction. So now what I'll do is I'll select it. I'll go to this styles again and I say that this is heading 2. So you can see now there is introduction. In introduction we have something that is industry before COVID. So same can apply to this. We can apply this format painter and now you have industry now. Same way for literature review, suppose I assume that in literature review I have created few themes. Say the first theme is brand and buying pattern. Then I say brand awareness and buying. Then I say brand personality and buying. So suppose I have created 3 different themes. Again, what I'll do is I'll copy paste them, like I'll just select all, I'll put it as times, I put it as 12, and now I want them to be within the literature review. So again, I'll select them, I'll go to this style options and I say that it is heading 2. So see, it now in literature review there is a bifurcation. So again, I can go to this paint format and select all of them, and you can see that all of them are listed like this. So now there is title of abstract, title of paper, then we have abstract, introduction, then there are 2 small paragraphs within it, then literature review, and 3, and so on. So this can be done for entire document. Now, so this is about, so what I suggest is, like, first thing is, like, we always create a layout. So that layout has to be created, give it an appropriate formatting, and try to make sure that it gets saved in your document so that you don't have to rework on formatting every now and then. So this is the first thing. Now coming on to, this was about the document outline. Now in view option, if you remember, I told you to add something called like keep section break open. So now I'll work on this. So we have talked about document outline. I showed you how it is visible. Now I'm moving on to very important aspect, that is section break. Now how do we apply section break? So we have to go to insert, and then you will see this option of break. So before we do that, we have to first click on the place where we want to add the section break. So say title of the paper should be my first page and abstract should be on my second page. So I'll keep my cursor over here before A, and I'll go to insert, and then I'd say break, and I say section break. Now in section break there are 2 things. You want it on next page or you want it continuous. Now title of the paper will come and then author's information will come. So I know that abstract would be on a new page, so I click on section break next page. So now if you see my document, there is title of paper and then abstract and other things are coming on a new page. Then say I want abstract, I'll write the abstract of say 200-300 words, then keywords, and then I want my introduction on a new page. So again I can go to this insert, I can go to break, and because I want my introduction on a new page, I'll go and click on section break next page. So now see, we have title of the paper, then I have abstract, and then I have introduction on a new page. Now in introduction I had created 2 subheads, and I know that this will come in one page and literature review may go on to a new page. So I'll put my cursor over here, I'll say insert, I'll go to break, and I'll go to next page. Now literature review again has 3 bifurcations, so depending upon your requirements you can create all the section break. What is the beauty of section break is, like, if you are having section break in your document, for each of these sections you can have different type of formatting and editing that is possible, and you don't need to save it, as I have told you before also. Now that we have I have created my entire outline for my manuscript, I have given breaks to it. Now let me tell you why did I do all these things. I did all these things because in case if I want to create a table of content, which usually is not applicable to manuscripts, but if you are doing the same thing for your any courses wherein you are creating a course outline or maybe any other document, or maybe you are creating some book chapter and you want to have a table of content there, so this functionality is going to be of use to you. So what I'll do is I'll create a new page. Suppose I want table of content here on the first page, so I'll go to insert, and then in last I see table of content. So now in table of content you can see that there are 2 options which are available. One is black in color and another is blue in color. Now the reason for these 2 options are different. Now suppose say you are coming up with a document which is to be sent, or maybe which is to be used by others in a printed version. So in that case you can select the first option, right? But in case you know that the document that has been prepared by you is going to be a e-content, or it is a document which is not going to be printed but it is going to be used by people online, so in that case hyperlinks can be created in table of content. So this depends upon the purpose for which the document is created. I'll show you both of them. Suppose say we click on this. So as you can see, whatever was the outline that I had created, everything is available over here with the page number. So this is the formatting that will go well if the document is of print kind, that is a printed document has been circulated by you. Now suppose say you are preparing this document and you know that it's a e-content, so then we go to insert, we go to table of content, and we click on with blue links, and you can see a hyperlinked document. So when you will be sending it to somebody, as soon as he or she clicks on research methodology, he or she will be dragged to that particular place. So they don't need to scroll on all the pages to see that where does the things lie. So this is the beauty of this first aspect that I have talked about, the basics. So while we prepare this document, if we are very careful in creating our outline and we are very good with formatting of this outline, it's going to help us a lot. So this is about the view option, wherein we talked about the document outline, we talked about section breaks, and in insert option we talked about the table of content. Right now, there is, as I told you, in every section you can have a separate type of formatting. Now suppose say I go to title of the page and I want to have a header and a footer. So we can go to insert, and then there we can see the option of header and footer. Suppose say I want a header, right? So if you see, as I told you, key section breaks are helpful because it helps you in creating the section, like formatting for different section. So if you click on this option and if you select this header format, you will see all the sections that have been created. So because I have created a lot of section, all of them are not getting listed. So section forward, so section 1 2 3 4 5 6, so whatever sections you have created, it is possible for you to have header and footer for that specific section. Now suppose say for this section 1, this is the section and I want to have a header only for this section. So I say introduction of the research of the industry. Suppose say this is the header that I want to have. So we can do all the formatting from here. So you can see there is a title, that is introduction of the industry, over here in the section 1s, right? But it's not there on the other sections. So this is how you can try to create the sections. You can edit them and you can even remove them based on your choice. So we can put it as whole document and apply. So now it is available on all the documents, all the pages. You would see the header. So when you are having a section, the beauty is, like, if you have a different sections, you can work on it. On each of the sections you can have separate header, footer, formatting. All these things are possible. So this brings an end to the first aspect, that is basic, where we talked about how to open the file, we talked about how to name it, we talked about the basic options that are to be kept open in this view tab. We talked about the document outline feature, how to do it, and we talked about the table of content. Let us talk about the second aspect, which is very, very important when it comes to Google Doc, and the most important benefit that is available to a researcher. So usually when we write our research papers, we don't write it individually. There can be cases when we are writing it as an individual author, but usually we have some co-authors associated with us. So once this basic formatting is done, the second thing that we have to do is collaborating and sharing this document with others. So how can we do that? So what we have to do is, there are two ways of doing it. One is going to file, clicking on the button share, right? So this is the window that pops up. The second option is going on to this right hand side, and you can see this blue button which says share, and you can click on share. Now I'll discuss a bit about this pop-up window. We can add the email IDs of people with whom we want to share the document. So what we have to do is, we just have to add the email IDs of the people with whom we want to share it. So we'll add, there is a setting which shows that when we are sharing, what does it happen. So if you say editors, so they have all the permissions. If there is a viewer and a commentator, so they have the option to download, print and copy. So these are the options that is available, so we can explore it later. Now suppose say the first person I want to add is myself. I'll add my own Gmail ID, the other Gmail ID. So it pops up. Second person with whom I want to add is so it pops up. Suppose I want to, like, we are 3 people who are working on this paper, so I can add all the email IDs. So they are all my personal email IDs that I have added. Now when we are doing this, you can see here, when you click on this, there are 3 options that are available. One is the person will be only able to view. So if you are sharing it with people and you put the button view as option, that is the person is a viewer, he won't be able to edit it. He would be only able to view the particular document. If you want, like, you are sending something, a document to somebody, because you want the other person to comment on it or suggest you. So for example, you are a research scholar and sending some document to your guide, so maybe you can make him or her the commenter. Now the best option is the editor, because editor has all the rights. He can view the document, he can comment, he can make the changes and so on. So depending upon the purpose for which the document is being shared, we have these 3 options, and we can even put a message. This is the document that we all shall edit for research paper 1. All the best. Say, suppose this is the message. So you can see that this demo file is attached here, and you just have to click on send, right? So this is the process that is undertaken. So now you see that there is a window that says people added. So people have been added. So now if you see on this button, you see it is shared with 3 people. So you saw that I have added 3 email IDs. So it is showing that there are 3 people with whom the document has been shared. Right now, sometimes it may happen that there are 3 people who are working on a document, but everybody doesn't have to do a particular aspect. Now suppose say out of these 3 people, I want Mahim to be working on the literature review part, and I want to inform it to him. So what we can do is, we can again go to file, we can press on this email and email collaborators, right? So this is the window that pops up. Now I don't want to send it to Anupama the way 30@gmail.com. I'll cut it. I don't want to send it to Chirag. I want to send it to Mahim. What do I want to send? The subject is demo file, and I'll write the messages. I want you to work on the literature review part. Please work on all the 3 themes and let me know. So see, and you can send a copy to yourself also, and you can send this. So the beauty is that you have sent email only to Mahim. You have not asked the other 2 people to do it, and you are just informing something to Mahim. So that is the beauty of this particular document, which cannot be done with the normal Word document, right? So this is how we can collaborate and we can share the documents. There are 3 options, as I told you. The options that are available when we are sharing with people is either he can be a viewer, or he can be a commentator, or he can be an editor. So depending upon the purpose for which the document is shared, we can select the options. The other thing is, sometimes it may happen that there is a file that is ready. We don't want the person to collaborate in that particular file, but we want to just share an email. So that option is also available. So again, if you go to email, you see there is an option which says email this file. So you can click on this option, and again a window pops up. To whom you want to send this mail? Suppose say I want to send it to Anupama, right? Please check the outline, madam. So suppose say I am not giving the sharing right, this document will be attached into email. And there are different options, like you want to send a PDF, you want to send a RTF file, you want to send an open document, Microsoft Word, HTML, and so on. Suppose say I want to send a PDF file, or say Word document. So we can select our choice. Say I said Word document, then we can attach. So if you say don't attach, so that doesn't get attached. If you say attach, so that gets attached, and then you can send this file. So the purpose is, like, I'll again go to that same option, file, email. There are two options. The first option is like you want to send the file to somebody with whom you have not shared the document. Then the first option should be used by you. There again, there are multiple options. There are different ways in which the document can be shared by you. Second is you want to email the collaborator, like you have collaborated with 3 people, 10 people, 15 people, and you want to inform only 2 or 3 people about a specific thing. So email collaborator can help you to email those specific people about a particular message that you intend to share. So this is a second important feature of the this Google Doc for a researcher, that you can collaborate with multiple people, you can share the file with multiple people in multiple formats, and you don't have to press on Control S, you don't have to save things anywhere, you don't have to be worried about where the document is saved. Then you have to open a Gmail account, and then you have to share it with on a particular email ID. Everything is just available on this document, and you can click and do it in fractions of seconds. Okay, so now that we are done with the first and second section of Google Docs, that is the basics and collaborating and sharing, we come on to our third section, that is the Researcher's Aid. Now I have titled this section as Researcher's Aid because I'm going to talk about 2 important menus which are available in this document. One is this Insert menu, and the second is the Tools menu, which comes very handy for a researcher and is of great value for the research work that we conduct. Now suppose say I want to write something about industry before COVID, right? So I'll just keep a gap over here, and first we'll explore the Insert menu. So if you click on Insert menu, we see a lot of options: insert image, table, drawing, chart, line, date, footnote, and we have already explored the table of content, so this I will not be talking about. I'll be talking about those things which are very much useful while we prepare a manuscript. Suppose say we want to insert an image. Now if you click on this image, there are a lot of options which are available. That is, you can upload from computer, you can search on web, it can be from the drive, it can be from the photos that is stored on Google Photos, it can be by URL, or it can even be by a camera if you have the camera option available on your desktop setup, right? So the most vital element of this image is search the web. This is the add-on, or maybe the ultimate best feature that is there in this Google Doc. So if you click on search web, so you can see over here it says Google image, only selected images that you have confirmed that you have the license to use. So this is a very safe way of finding the images. Suppose say, because I'm talking about industry before COVID, and I want some image with reference to COVID-19. So say I say COVID-19 India. So there are so many images that are available, and now just because it's a demo file, say I select this particular image. So if you can see, there is a blue window that has popped up. It says one has been selected and you can insert. So you can click on insert, and the image gets inserted here. Yes, so you can see that there is an image, and if you click on this image, because we have imported it from web, it will have all the information with reference to, like, we can do a lot of setups over here, and we can rotate it, we can do we have image options for the which can be added. So this is one of the best features of the insert tool, wherein if we have some image, we can search from web, we can find the image relevant to our requirement and we can insert it in the Word document, right? We don't need to go on Google, find something, save it and then copy paste. So that's not required. So this can be done. Now let's look at the other functionality. When we go to insert menu again, there is an option to insert table. So suppose say in the research methodology chapter, we also data analysis, we want to insert a table which is talking about the demographic profile of the respondents, and we want to have a table. So we can go to insert, we can click on table and we can select the number of rows and columns that we want. So say I want to say the factors, then I have the column and then I have the details. So this is like this, and I say gender, then I put male is 50 and female is 50. So likewise, so we can keep on pressing the tab and our table gets inserted. Again we go to insert. So we have looked at image, we have looked at table. Drawing is a feature which is not much useful for the people who are there having a management domain, but if you want then again you can click from drive, if it is stored in drive, or you can have a new drawing. I'll move on to a very important aspect, that is chart, right? This is something which we are going to use for our data analysis chapter. Now suppose say in data analysis I have some information in form of chart, I want to represent it. So then say I have something wherein we have respondents opinion about usage of during COVID, something like that, and I want to insert a graph. This is a very beautiful function. Please have a closer look at what I'm doing. So when you go to chart, again there are options to draw it here, and even we can get it from sheets. So this is a very beautiful aspect. So suppose say, but the only thing is that the Google sheet from where you want to fetch this chart or graph should be there in your Google Drive. So just to show you, I have already created a demo file which is there in my drive, and I'm going to fetch chart from that particular sheet. So I have to click on from sheets. This will show me all the data that has been stored in my drive. So I just have one file which I've created for this session. So you can see that this demo data. So when I click on this, it will say select. So I'll select this data and it says import chart. Now in this sheet that I have created, there are two charts that I have, right? So it will ask me which one to use. So suppose say I want to use this one, right? Now very important, there is a tab which says link to spreadsheet. So that should be clicked. I'll tell you why this should be clicked, and then you click on import. Now you can see that the same chart is over here with all the numbers and figures, right? Same way I want to import the next chart. So just giving it a normal title. I'll again go to insert, I'll click on charts, I'll tick from sheets, I'll select the sheet, you go on to select it, I say the second one, and I have again clicked it. It is linked to spreadsheet, and I'll import it. So both the charts are over here. Now why did I link to the spreadsheet is what I'm going to show you next. Now as I told you, that particular sheet, this Excel sheet, is in my Google Drive. So when I go back to my Google Drive, I can see a demo data over here. So see, this is the Excel that I'm talking about, and it is even visible on this right hand corner, right, extreme corner. Now I'll open this sheet and I'll make some changes in this data. Now for example, I have made a mistake and there is no point of neutral, right? There are 0 people who have said neutral, and I found out that there are 2 people who have said that they agree to it. So I say 2 are there who said neutral, and disagree was 8. I wanted to make it 12. So now you see, now there is a new yellow color that has been added which says neutral, and I have made these changes. I have not clicked on Ctrl S, I have just made the changes, and that has got reflected in this particular chart. Now when I go back to my demo file and I see my chart, it is the same, right? There is no yellow color, there is no neutral, but you can see an icon which says update. So when you click on this update, the yellow color is visible now. So this is the benefit, this is a very good feature, that as soon as you make any changes in the Excel file, right, so the same will be reflected back into your Word document when you click on update. Now same, suppose say in demo version, so if you can see there are three options: yes, no, not sure. Now if I want to remove not sure, I say 0, right? So see, now this chart is only having two color, blue and red, yes and no. That is, if I go to my demo file, it says update, and if I click on update, the sheet gets updated. So this is one of the best features, because usually what happens is, like we have done, like we work on the Word document, we have a separate spreadsheet, and if there are any changes, so we have to again delete it from our file and then copy paste the from Excel to Word, and all those things are to be done. So such type of things can be ignored by doing this. So this is one of the wonderful features that I would like to highlight about Google Docs. So we've looked at insert image, table, chart. So these are the important aspects that we should be knowing about. Again, footnote you can add if you want. Headers and footers I have already discussed. Page numbers we can add, and there are a lot of options. These are all basic features which can be explored. Now a table of content is also something which we have already discussed. Now there is something called link, right? Now link is what, if you want to link something in our document, right, we want to create a hyperlink document and we would want to link it, so that is also possible. So for that, what we need to do is, like, we have to highlight a particular word to which we want to link it. We can go to insert, we can go to link, and then we just have to paste the link if it is from external website. If it is within, for example, this data analysis is from my Excel sheet, right? So I'll just click on the Excel sheet, that is demo data, and that gets hyperlinked. So the person who will be using it, when he clicks on this, the Excel sheet will open. So if it is required, otherwise it can be, it is not compulsory to use it, but this is one of the features that can be utilized. So I think we have completed with insert tab, images, table, chart. We talked about headers and footers. We talked about break already in the first section. We talked about links, and we talked about table of content also. Now we will move on to the next aspect. So this was about the insert button. Now let's look at tools button. So if we could click on tools button, we see a lot of options. The first is spelling and grammar, so that should be kept on, all of them, so that we can see if there are any mistakes that we make. So this is going to be very useful to us while we are writing a research paper. Second feature which is very good is word count. So it will show us how many pages, how many words, how many characters, and if we want, we can even ask it to display it while we are typing it. So when I click on this and I click on OK, you would see left corner 86 words. So as soon as I write something, the words have increased. So this is the feature of word count which is there in the tool options. So now I'll go on to a very good feature, another interesting feature of Google document. Before that, I'll just come to introduction. So we have inserted one image. Suppose say I want to write something about COVID and how it started. So we can click on explore button. So explore button is there on this tools. Other than that, if you look into right hand side, the bottom corner, you can see this explore button. So when you click on explore button, so it will ask you what do you want to search. So we can write about COVID in India, suppose say, right? So there are so many information which is available. So everything from web is available over here. Now as a researcher, we all know that it is very much important to have the bibliography. We need to reference everything. So that option is available in this explore button. So if you see these three buttons, so it will show you that which type of citation do you want. So we usually follow APA, so I can click on APA. Suppose say I just want to get some good information about COVID, and WHO is a very reliable source, so I'll click on it. So a new window will open. Why a new window opens? Because we are still working on this particular document, right? So a new window will open. There we can go on and we can read whatever is the context there, and if we like something which we want to use in our manuscript, we can then select it. Obviously we cannot copy paste everything, we'll have to edit, but I'm just trying to show you a feature. So I said I copy pasted this. Just a minute. Okay, so you can see that the document is here. We have to obviously edit, we will not take it as it is. This is just to show you and hands on. I'm quickly taking it up. So this is some data that I have, and now I want to cite this document, right? So I can just press on this button. I'll go to the end of this paragraph and I'll just press on cite. So you can see there is number 1 over here. If you go down, you can see that the document has been cited according to APA format. So obviously you have to edit it, because we all know that plagiarized material is not allowed. So we have to do the necessary changes, and we even have the options to cite it. So we can explore web, we can explore images, we can explore our own drive if there is something in our drive. So this is one of the very good features that is there in the Google Docs, which is not available in the normal doc that we usually use. So we talked about spelling and grammar, word count. We talked about explore button, in which comes citation. Citations can be separately managed. There is something called linked object. Now what is linked object? So suppose say in this document you have linked some other files, like I have linked my Excel sheet, if you recall. So when you click on this, you will see that there are 2 documents which are linked, because there were 2 charts I had exported into this particular document. So all the list of linked documents would be available over here, right? Now one important feature which again is been provided is translating the document. So suppose I want this document to be translated, we just simply need to click on translate document and choose the language in which we want to get this document translated. So suppose say I want it to be translated in Hindi. So I click on Hindi and I say translate. So a new document will open, which will have all the same things, but it would be in Hindi. So this is another feature of Google Doc which can be very much useful for the researcher, right? Again we move on to tools section. So we talked about translating document. Now suppose say I don't want to type everything, I want to speak and I want the document to type. So that is also possible. So suppose say I want to type something about the literature review. So I'll use a voice typing over here. So I go to tools, I go to voice typing and I click on voice typing. So you can see a mic over here. So you have to click to speak. So I'll click. You have to allow the mic. This section contains the literature review. Full stop. Literature review is divided into 3 sub themes. They are brand and buying behavior, brand awareness and buying. Then I'm just stopping. So you can see that it is getting typed, right? So you have to be quiet, fluent and clear while you speak this. It has even the capacity to take up the full stop. So if you recall, I said full stop and there was a full stop mark in between. So this is again one of the features that is there in Tool. So voice typing is also possible. Now moving on to one more good feature which is there in Tool, that is preferences. This is very good for researcher. And we go on to substitution. So sometimes what happens is that we know that in my manuscript there is a word which is going to be repeated n number of times. Like say I'm working on something wherein I'm talking about brand, right? And I don't want to write brand every time. I want it to be reflected when I write something. So shortcuts are also possible. So we can replace, suppose I write brand equity. Whenever I will write BE, it will write brand equity. Okay, so we can add all the preferences that we want. I'm just adding one to show you. So I say okay. Now here I wanted to write brand equity, so I write BE, and you see brand equity is reflected, right? So all the preferences, like many a times whatever research we are undertaking, we know that there are certain words which are going to be repeated multiple times. So that preferences can be like, we can set up those preferences from here, and we can add them for our benefits, which can help us to save a lot of time. So that was about the tool menu, right? So we talked about insert menu, which is very good, especially when it comes to images, charts, which are very frequently used, for page breaks, for linking options, for table of content. We talked about tools menu, which talks about spelling and grammar, word count, explore button, which is very vital, which is having a lot of features which can be used, talking about voice typing. We talked about preferences. So these are various tools that can help researcher a lot. So this brings us to our last section, that is downloading and other functionality. So before we move on to downloading, I would like to talk about few other functions that are there in Word, which are very important for a researcher. Now, as I told you that we have added 3 people, which is visible over here top, that it has been shared with 3 people, and now there is some work that has been done by another person, and I want some edits to be done by that particular person. So I don't need to call him, we can inform it through this document itself, how that is to be done. Now suppose say this is an introduction that has been written by another colleague, that is Mahim, and I want him to edit this. I'll just have to select this or whatsoever I want to edit. I just have to click on button which says add comment. So this is a window that pops up. We have to put at the rate, like because I want to instruct, or maybe I want to tell the other person to work on this, and I have to write Mahim, and his email address would be there, and I can say please make it plagiarism free, something like that, or and in bullets, something like that, and you can tick assign to Mahim, and when you click on assign, this information will pop up in Mahim's screen. Like when he opens the Word document, he'll be able to see that there is something that has been told to him to do. Now I have kept another window open to see that how it is visible to the other person. Let us go to this file. Now this is Mahim's account, so my another account, and you see comment history over here on the top, right? So when you click on this comment, you see that there is something that has been told, please make it plagiarism free and in bullets. So when you click, it will directly take you to that particular paragraph. Now as Mahim, what I can do is I can edit this paragraph. So say I want to respond measures of COVID, including, say I want to do it something like this, surveillance. I'm just doing it so that I can show you how this functions. Something like this, right? So it was been told to make it in bullets, so I made it in bullets from here. This is in bullet, and then can go, suppose I've made it flag free, and then what I can do is I can mark it as done. So that yellow color goes away because Mahim has completed the task, right? Let us see how it is reflected to me in my document. So if I go to my document, I would see, go to comment history. This is the comment history, and I can see that Mahim has marked as done. Now if I am not satisfied, so we can put it again, please check plagiarism, right? So again I have instructed Mahim to do something, and it would be again reflected onto the site. He'll get a pop-up, he opens it, and it says please check the plagiarism. So you can again go check the plagiarism and mark it as done. So when you go on to this and when you say this, it is, you can write, I have to reassign it to somebody, so I'm not doing it, I'm reassigning to somebody, and you can reassign. So such type of things are possible, which is a huge advantage, because it becomes almost similar to as if you are communicating with somebody on WhatsApp if you are there. So again, there is an pop-up dialog and it says that what has been done. So at the end of a day, what will happen is that if you open this, you will have the entire comment history, and you will be able to see that who has done what, when it has been done, how it has been done. So all these things are visible for you. You can even see that only those comments which are for you, because if there are multiple people and many of them have commented, so you can also check only those comments which are for you and you can resolve it. So this is again a very good advantage that you have. I am marking it as done so that it doesn't pops up. So this is how you finalize. So this is about the comment history. Besides that, from file options, you can even see the version history. So if you go to version history, you can name the current version, like you can give it a name, say it is draft 1, and you can save it. And when you again go to file and you go on to see version history, you will be able to see that who has done what. So for example, see draft 1, Mahim and Anupama both have worked, but before that only Anupama was working. So you'll be able to see that who is doing what, how that has been done. So all those things get recorded, and it can be helpful in understanding and aligning the errors, like to make the document error free, or maybe to reassign the work. This version history can be of great help. So I go back to my data. So you can see there are total 7 edits is what it says. So this is where we come back. If there are multiple people working on your page, for example, you can see 2 tabs over here. So Mahim is also working and I am also working. So we 2 of us are working on the sheet, and it is visible over here. So you can immediately contact them by clicking on this comments, and you can give the comments. You can even chat with them. So see, this is a chat section wherein you can chat and it would be visible to the other person. So these are good advantages that you have. You can collaborate on real time, which is one of the most important features of Google Doc. Besides that, if suppose internet goes away, right, so there is even option wherein you can click on this and you can say make it available offline, and then you can keep on working on your document, and when your internet resumes, you can again click on this and everything gets automatically saved. So that is also possible. So what we have done till now is we talked about the comment and comment history, we talked about version and version history, we talked about working on the document offline. So this will be accessible only when you are offline. Right now my internet is there, so that's not showing to me. So we can even edit offline. When the internet resumes, we can again make it online and we can save the content. So that is also possible. Now moving on to the last thing, which is downloading the documents. So again, when you click on to file, downloading, you have so many options. So you can download the document in any of the formats that you want. For example, if I want it to be in PDF format, so it gets downloaded onto my computer, and that can be reused by me. So I'll just again click it. Okay, so you can see that in downloads there are a lot many options. So that's getting downloaded. PDF, open format, Microsoft Word, plain text. So we have different options depending upon our requirement. We can download whatever is useful to us, and you can see all the things over here, right, with all the edits that we have done. So this is a very good way of collaborating with people, collaborating and linking other documents, and keeping everything saved and hands-on. Because if I have worked on a document in my college, and then I want to work on the same document when I reach home at night maybe, so then I don't have to worry about the pen drive and all those things. I can open my Google Drive and everything is available just few clicks away. If you recall, I told you the clickable link is generated. So see, if I click on abstract, I go on to abstract. If I want to click on data analysis, I'll go on data analysis, and so on. So this is the beauty of using Google Docs, which is very handy tool, very useful, and should be used on regular basis, because the more we practice on this document, more we'll be able to learn. So these were just few basics. Other than that, there is even something called add-ons, wherein there are a lot of add-ons. You can click on get on add-ons. Depending upon your requirement, you can see the other feature and you can update them in your Google Docs. So creating clouds, creating doc to form, so etc etc. There are a lot of things, but then we have to explore each of these things, but these are the basics which can help the researcher a lot. So I hope you have enjoyed this journey of understanding that how Google Docs is going to be of great use to us being researchers, and how this can be used in order to import various things from data, just few clicks, not pressing the Control S button, and still able to collaborate with people on real time basis, talking to them, chatting with them, and making sure that the formatting doesn't change. So that's all about exploring Google Docs in the research journey. I hope you have enjoyed this session. Please try hands-on this file, try exploring more, because the more you explore, the more you use, you'll be able to explore more about these documents, because they keep on updating a lot of features. And all the best in your research journey. Thank you very much.